I mean, in the past, when we did talk about programmatic, it was more about performance and the long tail and random inventory. But now, especially this year, I think there are a couple of trends. The first one is everyone agree that programmatic will be the future. And more importantly, now it's not just about performance, it's much more about branding awareness, about running video campaigns programmatically, reaching the right audience. And therefore it's also important that when you do run campaigns programmatically, you have to have the right data about your audiences. And therefore at Xaxis, I think it's really fantastic to be here, to demonstrate our capabilities, and especially as we recently launched our own data management platform, we are now capable to actually execute it, given that now so much inventory is programmatically available. So it's really a big trend going programmatic.
So tell us about the DMP a little bit. What does it mean that you guys have one, and how is it different from other offerings, or what's the offering?
There are a couple of things which are different. The first one is it's our own proprietary DMP. We built it from the ground up, which means we have a really thorough understanding how everything works, which I think is important in our industry. Secondly, it allows us to get data that only we can have access to, which has two advantages. The first one is we can collect data across many touch points. So I was on a panel yesterday, and a publisher explained to us how incredibly rich his data assets are, but the problem is it's just from one single publisher. Whereas we can collect data across many different publishers, and therefore we have much richer audiences. And the second one is, as it's our data, we can differentiate ourselves from our competitors who only rely on third-party data, which everyone has access to, and therefore there's not really a competitive advantage of having access to something everyone has access to. But with us, with our data, we just know more about a user, and therefore we can target better, and therefore we can deliver higher ROIs to our advertisers.
And let me ask you this, there's been a lot of talk about the private marketplaces, direct, private, direct, so on. Tell us where that stands, where that's the trend, what your viewpoint is.
It's definitely the trend. I mean, I would say it's still the beginning, but we at Xaxis, whenever possible, like to establish private marketplaces. We like to actually avoid auctions and bidding, because we do feel that if we establish a private marketplace, we can on the one hand better leverage the data that we have, but also the volume of GroupM, which we are part of. So private marketplace is definitely something which we are pushing tremendously. I do hope that as much as this year we talked about programmatic, we hopefully will talk about video next year. Because I do think that's the largest growth potential in our industry. I would even say more so than mobile. And from a Xaxis perspective, about 60% of our revenues are already in video, which I think is good, but still it can grow significantly. A couple of challenges. One certainly is that we have to demonstrate that how can a video campaign be managed in such a way that we can increase reach from a TV perspective. So basically, how does a TV campaign in conjunction with a video campaign play out? How can we increase net reach, GRPs, and things like that? And therefore, many of the challenges that we see in this area are about, for example, measurement, about data. And I hope that these are the things that we tackle as an industry and solve relatively quickly, so that more money is actually flowing into video. You also point out correctly that supply of video is still a bottleneck, and even more this year than I would say the last year. So again, as an industry, we need to be, I would say, innovative in the way of how we can create video supply. I hope that new formats will come out, and by having more video supply, I do think that the video market will grow really significantly over the next years. And that's why we invest quite heavily into that area, because again, we feel that that's a growth driver for us at Xaxis.